Do you wish you could get virtual attendees to turn their cameras on? Is engagement the number one issue on your virtual meetings? Do you want your meeting to be the most engaging virtual meeting? Well, welcome to the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. In this podcast, we'll talk to the top people around the world in virtual meetings and give you, the listener, the best ideas to host engaging virtual meetings. Make sure that you click subscribe so you can get the latest episode of the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. Now, let's welcome your host, the author of the #1 Amazon hot new release, Engaging Virtual Meetings, John Chen. All right, welcome. This is John Chen. You're on another Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. If you're watching on social media, do us a favor, hit subscribe, share, like, and comment. If you want all the episodes, you can go to engagingvirtualmeetings.online, and you can catch this podcast on any one of the 13 places that you like to get podcasts on. And just as a reminder, the Engaging Conference every October, you want to be there this year. This is the first year we're going hybrid. So you can claim a free ticket here, engagingvirtualmeetings.com/CON, or become a VIP. The virtual Zoom, you will actually get to ask questions directly to our speakers. And for the first time ever, 150 people can come here live and see behind the scenes about what we are doing here to make virtual and hybrid engaging. All right, well, now see, coming up next, we have this gentleman, best-selling author, CEO of Remarkable. He's a former chief people officer. I better play him some gigantic music here. He's the messenger of practical wisdom and needed hope, which I think we all need today. Please put your hands in the air for the one and only Dr. Randy Ross. How's that?
That's great. Thanks, John.
Oh my gosh, Randy. All right. How are you doing today? That's really the question of the day. How are you doing?
I am wonderfully well down here in sunny Georgia. The weather has turned. We're hoping that spring is on the way.
Oh, you've had some weather, right, this year, I think.
We've had a little bit, but sunny skies and warmer today, so I'm optimistic.
Oh my goodness. All right. Let's see. Now I'm trying to remember. I'm not sure if I remember now off of my short-term memory loss. Where did we meet? We met online, I think, right?
I think we did meet online, and we had some mutual friends who connected us as well. So that's always a good thing, right?
Always a good thing. Well, let's do this, Dr. Randy Ross. Let's find out a little bit more about you. Do us a favor. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay. Well, I am an author of multiple books, and I am a speaker. I travel around the country and across the globe, trotting around and talking to organizations about how they can improve their culture by applying principles of axiology. I'm a kind of a geek when it comes to philosophy and psychology, so I enjoy bringing compelling content to organizations that will help them crystallize their culture and create a more relationally rich work environment, because the principles of axiology are impactful when it comes to happiness, health, productivity, and longevity. And so I write and speak about such issues.
Now say it again. Let me see if I can get the correct pronunciation. Axiology? Did I do it?
Axiology. So axiology, it's a strain of philosophy that talks about values, value constructs, and value creation. It's simplified. It's an attempt to define and measure good. And when it comes to organizational life, it's about creating movements of good, which I find extremely fascinating and very compelling.
Let's see. Oh, wait. Let me get this one. There we go.
There you go. Axiology. That's it.
The study of the nature of value and valuation. So what is the genesis of axiology? I don't believe I've heard this word often.
Well, it goes all the way back to Plato and Socrates, if you want to take it all the way back there. But you probably have read in some of Socrates' writings about being virtuous. And so the concept is that our value system is what drives human behavior. For me, it's probably one of the clearest explanations of human motivational behavior, because it posits that whatever you value the most or whatever you believe will bring the most value to yourself and those around you,
Yeah.
those are the things that you will pursue. And
Yeah.
so it's your construct. It's how you believe. It's your worldview.
So, if you know a little bit about my past, Randy, I've hung around that guy, Tony Robbins with the big teeth, that guy. And he professed something called the six human needs, which had six values in it. And he was trying to explain why anybody does anything. And, it really helps explain things like, let's take something radical like gang behavior or gun violence. The gun or the violence does fill a need for that person, maybe in a low way or in a very dangerous way, but it is fulfilling a need, which is why people do things like, okay, let's take another one that's not good for you. Smoking, right? Why do people smoke? Well, because in some part it fills one of their values, even though, right, it's harming them and maybe another value, but they really may or may not care about it in that way. So I'm kind of curious what drew you to this and saying, well, you said it was the simplest thing. I'm just kind of curious about the moment that clarity kind of arrived going, this is the thing, right? This makes sense to me.
Well, I think it goes all the way back to my studies. I enjoyed studying psychology and theology and philosophy and
Yeah.
seeing how they all intertwined and their impact on human behavior. And if you think about it in organizational life, we're constantly trying to move people to behave in certain ways that will produce productivity, whether that's innovation, collaboration, creativity, whatever that happens to be. But
Hmm.
behind behavior is a belief system, right? That
Hmm.
serves as the structure out of which our behavior flows. But behind our belief system are a set of values because that's fundamental and bedrock to what we build upon. And
Right.
so our values are both stable and immovable, but they're also transient in the sense that there are some values that are deeply embedded. There are others that are morphed and shaped over the course of time through experience and education. And
Hmm.
for me, what's really fun is helping people to do a deep dive and evaluate what their values are. Values always compete. I mean, to use your example, someone who participates in gang violence, there's a sense of control and power that may come from an expression that's destructive. But for most people, I think that we all feel good when we do good. And organizations, when it comes to organizations, people like to do good business with businesses that do good.
Yeah.
And so it's really an attempt to define and measure good,
Mm.
which I find very, very fascinating. The definition from axiology of good is having been designed for a purpose, you fulfill the purpose for which you're designed. Now, if you think about that from, let's just say, a psychological standpoint, Abraham Maslow, his hierarchy of needs, some people are
Yeah.
familiar with that, right?
Yeah.
It was a five-tier hierarchy of needs. If your basic physiological needs are met, then you can ascend to the next level, which is safety. And then there was love and belonging, self-esteem. I'm gonna put you on the spot. I'm gonna take you back to your psychology 101 class. What was the pinnacle of Maslow's hierarchy of needs? What sat at the top? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, self-realization.
So that's it. Self-actualization.
Oh wait,
Self-realization.
wait, 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 wait.
You
Hold on
got
a
it. Give,
second.
give
Wait,
yourself a check.
wait.
You,
There you go.
there you go. There you go. Top of the class.
I get a
And
coin for
that's what we were always taught in school, right?
that.
But guess what? That's not the end of the story because the father of modern axiology, Dr. Robert Hartman, was a good friend with Abraham Maslow. And one day they were sitting around after dinner drinking brandy. And
That's the good life.
yeah, Hartman looked at Maslow and he said, Abe, is that really all there is to life? So you fulfill your potential. So what? What good have you done? And it really caused Maslow to start thinking. And if you dig deep, if you want to Google it, Maslow later in life added three more tiers to his hierarchy. One was aesthetic needs, but the top one above self-actualization is actually self-transcendence, which is interesting because it's talking about the metaphysical connection, doing good, bringing good to the world, making your dent in the universe, creating a movement of good, giving back and building a legacy. And I think that's really critically important. And so really that's kind of where axiology goes. It goes that second step beyond self-actualization and talks about how do you build movements of good? How can you bring good into the world? There you go. That's it. Check it out. Transcendence is actually above self-actualization, which means that not only have you fulfilled your potential, but life isn't complete until you do good, give back to others, and leave a legacy. And I think that's pretty remarkable.
Well, we're at that stage, Randy. I hate to say it a little bit, but it's the truth. As we get a little older, that legacy work becomes sometimes one of the driving principles. I also, my friend gave me a great book. I'll give a shout out to my friend at Get Smart Financial, who gave me a book, and it says that people in general do some of their best work in the 60s and 70s.
Absolutely, no doubt. Yeah,
And
that's
so
true.
that gets into this. So, what does transcendence mean to you? Like, what's your own personal definition of transcendence?
So transcendence means that you are connected with a purpose and you have an opportunity to fulfill a passion that goes beyond yourself. Actually, I appreciate you asking, John, because I have a new book coming out. It doesn't come out until August,
Dun,
but
dun,
it's
dun.
entitled Make Life Good. And
Oh,
the complete title is You've Made a Good Living. Now make life good. And it's all about legacy.
nice.
It's all about
Yeah.
philanthropy. It's about giving back. It's about making a mark on the world that goes beyond your inner circle and does good for other people that they wouldn't be able to do for themselves. Because as Maslow and as Hartman would say, bringing good into the world is what we're here to do. If all we do is breathe this air and ravage the planet's resources, then what good have we done? What
Right.
was the purpose of our life? So,
Interesting. Well, what do you think your legacy is going to be, or what would you like your legacy to be? Haha.
well, the obviously the name of our company is Remarkable.
Yeah.
One of my books that I wrote is entitled Remarkable. So my hope is that by my words and my deeds, I will inspire others to be remarkable. And remarkable means that you live life and you do business in such a way that you blow people away. You exceed all expectations. You go the second mile. You mark their life for good to such a degree that when they leave your presence, they have this irrepressible desire to talk about you. And when they're remarking about you and the positive difference that you've made in their lives, then you indeed have become remarkable.
Do you know Phil Mershon? Have you met Phil yet?
I have not met Phil, but I'd love to be introduced to him.
Because he wrote a book called Unforgettable.
Okay.
This is the art and science of creating memorable experiences. And I think that it's might be related to this, which I kind of leads me into this. I want to ask you, you do a lot of work in leadership and team building. How do you think leaders need to engage their companies and their teams this year, 2024? What is some of the most important things you think a leader needs to get their teammates engaged with them?
Well, I can sort of simplify that. I
Sure.
think that every team leader needs to create and craft a relationally rich environment where people can flourish.
Mm.
Happy people do good work. It's just we know that from research that the happier people are, the better the work they do. And when people do work with people that they enjoy doing it with, it's a more pleasant experience. I think also that leaders have to connect personal passion and personal values to corporate objectives. And I think that's the way you tie people in is you give them a cause, a mission, a purpose that's larger than self.
Yeah, I'm also a sports fan, or at least when we had a basketball team. I'm not bitter, Randy.
Uh, oh, I can tell. Yeah, you're not bitter. You just wish you had the sports team there, right?
Yeah,
You
we
got
used to have.
the Seahawks, but come on.
Well, I'm just talking basketball. And by the way, this actually gives me a great memory that one day I was there in Atlanta and I went to the box office for, your Atlanta basketball team and they had one courtside seat left. And it
Yeah,
was like, oh, it was only $200. And I'm like, oh, this is a no-brainer. So, so I got to
absolutely.
sit courtside in your amazing Atlanta team. Anyway, so trying to go back
Well,
to our,
I got to give a shout out to the Hawks. You got to call them by name. Come
oh
on.
yeah.
If you sat
Yeah.
courtside, what year was that?
Oh, geez, it was like probably 90 something, maybe 94, 95, somewhere around
Okay.
there. Oh, maybe I take it back. Maybe it might have been 2000, but it was like 2000 to 2010.
Okay.
Okay, well, so when Seattle used to have a team, the Sonics, right? One of the cool parts was Nate McMillan was a player coach, and one of the things that I realized that he was doing was that he got his team to work to figure out what was important, like what you said, personal passion, to align with the team's goals. So, for instance, there was somebody, and all he wanted to do was start. So he would made him a starter, and and quite often he fouled out like in the first quarter. You get two fouls and you have to get that sat down. But anyways, he got to do the opening. So he was able to fill that goal. Somebody else, his goal was to have the game winning shot in his hands. So he then, because there's only five slots for the opening, he became the sixth man, right? Vladimir Radvanovich, by the way. And so his role was that he didn't get to start, but he would always get to play fourth quarter. And he was one of the greatest three-point shooters you're ever going to meet, as well as he was one of the greatest philanthropists because UNICEF airlifted his two parents out of Bosnia, Serbia, Montenegro. Serbia, Montenegro. And he had never forgotten that. And so he spent a lot of time fundraising for UNICEF to try and pay back and leave that, thank for that legacy that
Wow.
happened. And so anyway, so that's like an example that I have of how do you align somebody's personal passions? I'd love to hear any stories that you have, Randy, of examples that you have where somebody really did a great job of aligning somebody's personal passion with the company objectives.
Well, here's what the best companies do, and I've seen this happen over and over again. Many companies make the mistake of trying to career path people. In other words, they say, you joined our organization. This is what we want you to do. If you want to make it to the next level, do this, this, this. And then they stair step them up right in their career path. I think the companies that are the best are the ones that career craft.
Mm,
And they say, look, we're not going to tell you what you should do. We want to hear, what do you want to do? And a great question, what problems do you see that you personally might be able to solve?
yeah.
And so what happens is when someone has a passion to solve a problem, or they see that they can leverage their strengths and their passion to solve that problem, which is, by the way, one of the basic principles of axiology,
Yeah.
then that person is much more impassioned because the organization now has listened to me and they've heard where I want to go. Gets back to your example about Nate as a good coach player.
Yeah.
You listen to your players. What is it that they're passionate about? Because when you tap into that, you don't have to light a fire underneath them. All
Yeah.
you have to do is fan the flame within them.
Mm.
Makes
Like
a
I
big
said, though,
difference.
do you have an example? You don't have to use names or companies or anything. I'm just trying to figure out like it sounds easy, but in reality, often it is either hard because you have to, as a leader, you have to gain the trust of that person to maybe divulge something that looks like it doesn't serve their career. Like one of my good friends just said, he said his parents wanted him to be a lawyer, and he goes, "I want to be a photographer." And they were like not in support. It's like, and so there's a period of time when he could have easily tried to hide behind that, going, "Okay," and but you suffer for all that time saying, "I really want to be a photographer," and he's really become a successful photographer now.
So what you're talking about is you got to create a high trust environment where people feel
Yeah.
safe to be vulnerable.
Yeah. Yes. How do you do that?
Well, it's got to be intentional. It has to be relationally rich. There has to be a high level of trust and support. This might be a good starting point. When we go into organizations and we talk about culture,
Yeah.
we define a remarkable culture as a culture that has a trilogy of three things. It's a place where people believe the best in one another. They want the best for one another. And so, therefore, they expect the best from one another. Those three components: trust, deep connection and compassion, and accountability. When you have those three things in place, there's deep trust. I believe the best in you. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
When you want the best for someone, you've got their back. You coach them up. You believe in them. You want to provide the resources to make them successful and fulfilled and happy and give them meaningful work. And then you hold them accountable to bring their best game, right? Their A game. Those are the three components. And we work with countless organizations that finally are getting that. They understand the power of culture to drive performance.
Hmm. All right, well, let's talk remote teams. I want to hear what Dr. Randy Ross' viewpoint on remote teams because I know the press is all over the map. So, what is your view and best strategies for remote teams?
Well, we work with a lot of teams that are geographically remote. I mean, obviously, when you're working with a national or a multinational team, they're going to be spread out all across the country and around the globe. The idea of remote work, it's here to stay. I mean, the days are long gone that you can call everybody back into the office. There are just a lot of people who aren't going to do that, even if you live in the same suburban area. And so it's something we've got to begin to learn how to leverage for higher productivity. And so I think that that whole idea of, well, what you're teaching everybody to do, John, is to have productive time online and try to maximize that. I think we'll never be able to get away from the power of in-person, face-to-face activity. But if we leverage technology effectively, then there are great things that we can do in terms of bringing people together, having them meet more frequently, having deep, lively discussions, and it's here to stay. I love your hybrid event that's coming up because I think where events are going is that there'll be that draw and that attraction of live in-person presentation,
Yeah.
but there are a lot of people who physically can't get there.
Yeah.
Either they can't afford it or they just can't get there. It's interesting. I was scheduled to speak last January in Dallas for an organization that had a client meeting and they attracted people from all across the country.
Mhm.
And it just so happened that was when Dallas had their ice storm last year in January.
Oh, I bet. Well, I was also in attendance to the snowstorm when they had the Super Bowl. And remember,
Yeah.
like a section of the roof came off, and or the section of snow came off the roof, and yeah, it was so cold in Houston that you could not get out of downtown because it froze all the overpasses. Anyways, you have ice storm.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we had to be creative, and so I fortunately I was scheduled to speak on the first day. I was able to finally get there on the second day, but the attendance was about half what was expected, and we had to go pivot live. You had to go virtual, and so that our audience could join us, and it was a wonderful time. Fortunately, they had that already prepared, and it was a great way that individuals who couldn't physically get there could be a part of that conference. But more and more groups, I think, are leveraging the power of technology to be more inclusive
Yeah.
of individuals. So it's a great thing.
Okay, so in that case or any other case too, Randy, one of the hotter topics that's happening right now is that some of our professional speaker friends are confused about what to do in hybrid because they
Oh,
know virtual, okay, I can look at a chat, blah blah blah. I know in person, well, we did that beforehand, but now trying to do both at once, some people have come to me and said, I don't know where to look or I'm not sure how to pay attention to all this stuff. So I would be curious, how do you become remarkable when you're presenting hybrid?
when you're presenting hybrid, I think it is different than presenting live on stage. You have to take in consideration several things. I think people's attention span when it's hybrid, you've got to be much more dynamic, enthusiastic. You've got to have more breaks and visuals that you can turn to. You've got to engage people more in that conversation. But obviously, COVID pushed many of us off the stage and into the virtual world, and some were prepared for it, and others were not. And we found it to be such a powerful tool that I don't think we'll ever go back.
Not now.
For us, that was a period of time that we began to leverage the power of going into the studio and creating digital content. And we've created a ton of digital content that now has served us well because our message can be shared far and wide. Now we're having fun to take it to the next level. Now we're in the process of refining our digital AI, my digital twin. So now I can provide our content digitally,
Yeah.
globally with my digital twin. We can present it now in 53 different languages at the drop of a hat. So it's kind of fun, when you're trying to keep up with technology and stay on the cutting edge and provide resources for people that we didn't have 10 years ago.
Can you share who's working with your digital twin, or is that a little proprietary? I just want to ask.
No, no, no. It's a group here in Atlanta called Tempest One. and they are doing a fantastic job. They're getting us in shape. We have all of our content on a platform called the Rally CXP, which is the Change Experience platform. You can check that out at Get Rally, RALI, getrally.com. You can see all of our content there. It's a great place for content creators. We've got over 60 different content creators who are a part of our community and always looking to add quality content on the Rally platform. But now that we're working with Tempest One in combination with Rally, it's a powerful mix because we can go to our multinational companies and go, all right, you wanted our content before.
Right.
Now we can give it to you in 53 different languages. And the best part for me, the first time I saw my digital twin who looks, sounds, and acts just like me, in the middle of it, he goes, and now we can deliver our content in French. And I start speaking fluent French, which I can't do, right? And then went to Mandarin Chinese, and then I went to Spanish. So I was pretty impressed with myself.
Well, you should be. I have seen this demo in a couple other places. I'm going to give a shout out to Render Media. One of my NSA friends is now working there. And what you do, for those who don't understand what Randy's talking about, when we're talking about a digital twin, at least in the process that I know about, what they do is first take a digital likeness of you. So they're scanning you so that, and they can do it from multiple angles so that they can now recreate Randy into a digital likeness and then take his content. So they can take a video of him delivering something in English and the AI will then re-put it out. And here's the key. The key, though, because it has his likeness, first then translates it into French, right? They also has the likeness of his voice, so it actually sounds like Randy. And now it's speaking French, and so the lips are actually moving. So this is not an overdub of the bad, kung fu movie.
That's
This
right.
is digital likeness Randy delivering his keynote in French or 52 other languages, and that's when it becomes very powerful. That's really cool,
And
Randy. You're
yeah,
ahead.
the mouth movements and the
Yeah,
hand gestures and
yeah.
all of it is just like me, which is kind of crazy. It's interesting to see where everything's going. Yeah. So now I can be globally present, speaking 53 different languages at the drop of a hat.
And do you think you ever could have done this in your lifetime with the budgets that we have for whatever company size we are?
No, no.
Right?
But it's, technology is a wonderful thing. And the things that we can do to advance the message, it's really fun.
I'm gonna have to go try that now. I'm really because I've been trying to get my book translated into Chinese. I've actually presented in Taiwan using an interpreter, but I'm wondering, like, even just to start with captioning, which I know how to do, take the English and caption in another language and send the video over to the other side and find out, are people talking? One of my YouTube videos did go viral, and of all places, East India loved it.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was a 90-second video too, Randy, and it was about playing reverse charades. So you know what charades is,
Oh,
right?
sure.
Yeah. Do you know what a reverse charades is?
I'm assuming that you tell someone and they have to act it out as you. I don't know, as you speak. I don't know.
Yeah, so instead of like this, so normally Randy would act something out and all of us would guess. Let's pretend like there's 50 people here. In reverse charades, I tell everybody else, you have 49 people acting out and you, Randy, have to guess after trying to watch 49 video windows trying to tell you something. It's hilarious.
That's great. That's
And
great.
and the video was titled "How Do We Engage Everybody?" All at once. And so this is right. This was a game given to me at another conference, and I was the first, I think, though, to adapt it to virtual, and it's really successful. It's really. I actually use it to teach team building concepts. So they guess each one at a time, and then I tell them why I chose that word and that name. And so it's like the top 10 characteristics. This is, I like your relationally rich. I think that's the correct terminology.
Right.
That's a great term. The one that is in this class is civilized disagreement.
Hmm.
Civilized disagreement. What does this is one of the top 12 characteristics of great teams. Randy, what does civilized disagreement mean to you?
Well, civilized disagreement. We read a little bit about this in my book, Relationomics, because
Aha.
Relationomics talks about the power of healthy relationships to drive business. And essentially, what it's talking about is agreeing to disagree agreeably. That's that we're going to respect each other. We in order for us to have a diversity of thought that sharpens all of us and brings better thought processes to the table, we have to be open to a variety of ideas. But before we shoot those down, we have to give them, a fair hearing in order to be able to assess it.
Yeah.
And then if we do disagree, then we go into it, but we go into it in a respectful way, or we like to call them raw conversations. You
Yeah.
address reality,
Yeah.
you advance the issue, and
Mm.
you wrestle to resolution with whatever problems may be present. So raw conversations. Some people might call them fierce conversations or whatever crucial conversations. We like to call them raw conversations, and I think that's a big part of it.
What's the R again?
The R is dealing with reality.
Reality. Yeah. So
Reality. You got to
try to get to the fact. Yeah.
embrace the totality of reality, no matter how challenging it may be. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. So I heard reality. Wait, advance? No, wait, what's the
Advancement. Advancement.
advancement? Yeah.
Yep.
And rest.
We're not going to look in the rear view mirror and continually, overplay what's happened in the past. We want to make sure we're adding value and bringing conversation to the table that will help us advance whatever the issue may be.
Now, that is a skill because, even in events, right, it's really easy. Well, one is an event is a pressure situation, right? It's the clock is running, the people are on stage, right? When things go bad, right, it's in real time. And one of my ways is as a producer, I have to figure out how to resolve these challenges all the time. And at some point, when it gets down to it, especially in the moment, one of my strategies, number one, it doesn't even really matter whose fault this is. We can look at that later. We'll like if when we're like not under time pressure. Now, everybody, let's focus on what is the solution for this, right? And now, can we agree to do it in a short amount of time, so everyone understands their role? So then people can disperse and execute on it. So that's
So,
one of my parts. I was just trying to figure out how do you teach other people like how not to do that? Because the default part for that, Randy, 80+% of the world is so ready to go just blame and it's Randy's fault. He screwed up and it doesn't really. Again, the audience doesn't care, but that's I think most people's default reactions.
well, so here's a little soundbite. In a situation like that, in order to make progress, you're not concerned about affixing blame. You need to fix the situation. And regardless of who created it, everybody needs to roll up their sleeves and dive in to make it happen, right? To fix the problem. So again, I think you get back to these principles of axiology. One of the principles is in order to continuously create value, you have to leverage your passion
Yeah,
and your strengths to solve problems. Now,
yeah,
there's a whole lot of talk in the world, in the marketplace about your passion, pursue your passion, right?
yeah. Live your best life and
Live
pursue
your
your
best life
passion.
and all that. Yeah, my grandmother told me when I was young, do what you love to do and the money will follow. Yeah, that's what we call in psychological circles a lie. That's a lie. I mean,
That was not what I was expecting from you, Randy. That was a good one.
I would love to do only what I like to do or love to do, but I love to play golf. I do. I love the blue sky. I love the green grass. I love the white ball.
Yeah.
No one's ever offered to pay me to play, which tells you a whole lot about my game, right? But passion, you can't always do just what you love to do, but you do need to learn to love what you do. But pursue your passion and your strengths. And there's a lot of talk in the market, Marcus Buckingham and others, and there's a lot that we can need to leverage about our strengths, which is great. But that alone is not the total picture. You have to leverage your passion and your strengths. The key is to solve problems because people will pay you to solve problems. And here's the thing, the bigger the problem you find and you solve it, the more value you create. And the more value you create, the more invaluable you become. So to your point, I look for people who want to roll up their sleeves. They're not concerned about casting blame or aspersion. They just want to fix it.
Well, you'll love this. So Randy and I were talking. He's not currently a member of National Speakers Association, but he knows about it.
Oh,
We
but don't give that
recently.
away. Don't tell people that.
Oh, It's okay because he's too
They,
busy. He's so
they, may,
successful.
they may have expected me to be a part of NSA. Send me an application, John. Send me an application. I'll join your chapter.
Well, we're with the best value, and by the way, in all of NSA, right? New York clocked in at 950. We're like 149. You can join a chapter remote, but that's not what I'm saying. This story was so great. We organized a happy hour that a dozen people came to, and guests show up to because we just one. It's psychologically safe. You can just come here and like sit down next to professional speakers and just have a drink and bullshit, right? And
Yeah.
so it's great. So it's at a railroad track it's near a bar that has a railroad track, and one of our guests turned right too early and basically high-sided the axle on the rail of the train. And luckily there were no trains coming at this time because that would have been like a massive disaster. But she could not hit reverse and come back. I get a text message and it says, "Hey John, I'm stuck on the rail outside. Can you please help me?" So I get outside, and of course, what does it do in Seattle? It starts pouring. Randy, it's pouring out there. Luckily, I got a rain jacket. I'm out there helping. I'm looking, and I try and get three of us to push at the same time. It is too far gone. Like she had some momentum when she hit this thing, but it was so cool, right? To share this part, like how do you roll up your sleeves? All of the members and all of the guests, right? All 12 people came outside with their rain jackets and helped out. And it was so funny too. And it wasn't us that really did the final hard work. A gentleman who is from Texas who had a Sprinter van and the right cables to pull the car out came out and just stopped and hooked it up, and we cleared traffic. And of course everybody else who wasn't helping, what else did they do, Randy? They were taking video.
I can't help the whole lot, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like
Thanks for your help. Thanks for filming.
so, and the sprinter then finally like tied it up, had to go into traffic, was able to pull the car out. And it was so cool to see everyone jump in, right? And roll their sleeves up and help.
Yeah.
And
Well,
and
and
I got one last piece of it. Our president for our chapter, Bruce Shear, bless his heart, came in and goes, let me just, I want to tip you $40 for it. And the guy from Texas just came back and said, "Nope, I can't take that." I said, "Right, just, we want more good people doing good things because it's the right thing to do." And then he closed his doors and he left.
so I don't know if that's the power of teamwork or the lesson is leave it to a Texan to get it done.
Hook him, right?
Hey, I grew up in Texas. I'm all about the great state of Texas. So the Lone Star State.
But isn't that a great story? I mean,
It's a great story. And
it,
it's a great illustration of what we're talking about. So just pitch in, make it happen,
yeah.
get it done.
All right. Well,
And look for the boy in the cowboy boots.
Oh man, it, Randy, with all of that, with your, was it axiology? Did I get it right?
You did axiology, yeah.
With your view in axiology, what do you see for the future, or what do you wish for the future?
Well, I wish that many more organizations would understand the power of culture and what happens when you really take care of your people. Because when you create a relationally rich environment where people enjoy getting up and coming to work, where they feel like they're a part of something that's meaningful, that it
Mm,
brings value to their own life, that you
mm,
tap into their purpose and their passion,
mm,
and that creates not only a compelling, inspirational environment, but it sends the organization on an elevated trajectory when it comes to productivity. Again, applied axiology leads to happy, healthy, productive workforces that will stick around. And there's so many organizations right now, John, that are filled with toxic behavior, and they just have a revolving door of talent and that nobody wants to stick around. I mean, if you
Just
know about Gallup's engagement work over the last 2 decades, you know that only a third of the American workforce at best is highly engaged in their work, meaning there's a deep emotional attachment. To me, that's a travesty when you think that close to 70% of the workforce, they hate what they do. They don't enjoy it because we spend so much of our life at work. And
yeah.
life is too short not to enjoy your work. So for me, as I look to the future, I want to help individuals first find more meaning and passion in their work, but also I want to help organizations create movements of good that do good in society, that gives back to the world. If you want to call it conscious capitalism, if you want to call it, changing the world for good, whatever you want to call it, I want to help organizations get to that place that they're living with passion and purpose.
Mm, I love that and appreciate that. Have you ever heard of a company called Gravity Payments?
I have. I have.
What do you know about Gravity?
I've heard great things about Gravity. There's some really wonderful organizations that are making a mark outside of their own, organization,
Yeah. Yeah.
that they're giving back and they're doing good and they're making a difference in society and they're serving the underserved and they're just leaving a big positive wake in the world. And it's my privilege and pleasure to work with a lot of organizations that are doing that.
Gravity Payments was one of the first companies that raised the minimum wage or salary at the company to 80 grand or more.
Yeah.
Right? Dan Price, who was the CEO at the time, did that. And basically what happened was everyone stopped worrying about their money because 80 grand was what they did. That's why they picked the number, was about the number that you need to live in Seattle to like take care of stuff.
Yeah.
Once they took care of that, everyone was able to focus more so on the company. And they started to hit record goals, and they were so appreciative. Actually, they had extra money that they actually donated it back and bought Dan a Tesla as a thank you. But it was just really, and then he went on press tour. He was on Oprah. He was on like all these other big shows talking about, he's the CEO that really tried to equalize that. And so he's left a legacy in one way or in another. I don't know if it's going to work everywhere, but it was really an extraordinary, point of view that I know that the employees, though, it really transformed their lives.
Well, let's take it back to Maslow, our conversation earlier.
Right.
The basic human need
Took
is
care.
physiological needs:
Right.
food, shelter, clothing.
Right.
And then if we can, as organizations, mature to the point that we can help people not worry about that, and then
Yeah.
we begin to provide security, a safe place where they can express vulnerability and deepest passions, and then love and belonging, and then self-esteem, and then lead to self-actualization. Eventually it goes to self-transcendence. Those are the steps that are necessary in the progression of axiology to create a movement of good.
Well, let's do this, Randy. I've been working on this piece now for my last set of podcasts. This is the speed round. So I'm just going to ask you a bunch of questions. You just have to try and answer them as fast as possible. Are you ready?
Sure, let's do it.
Best company.
Chick-fil-A.
Ooh, that's a good one. Best sports team.
Atlanta Hawks.
Yeah, that was a good one. Best team overall around the world.
Alabama football.
Here you get a bunch of those. Best vacation you've ever taken.
Wow, that's a good one. Probably to Tuscany in Italy.
Ooh. I took my son to the Super Chianti region in Italy and rode bicycles.
Um,
Okay, favorite book that's not yours.
Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning.
No brainer. That was a great one. Then therefore, most inspirational movie?
Oh man, Notebook.
Ooh, Notebook. Oh, I did not expect that choice. That's a good one.
Notebook.
Favorite.
It's romantic. It's a good feel good movie, and it's about undying love.
There we go. Favorite food.
Favorite food, a good steak. I'm a Texas boy.
Best virtual platform.
Best virtual platform, Rally, the group that I have my content on.
Spoken like a true entrepreneur. Best microphone.
My Blue Yeti.
There you go. Best camera.
Best camera. Gosh, I'd like to say Kodak, but I don't know. My iPhone camera's pretty good.
And best team building event.
I think anything that gets the team together to get outside, get fresh air, and see get some vitamin D sunshine. I'm not sure. Is that a good beep or is that a bad beep? I don't know what that was.
Well, that'll lead us to our last one, which is the best clean joke that you know.
Oh man, put me on the spot. Best clean joke that I know. Well, I'm really good about bad dad jokes are probably, my what I'm known for with the kids. So why did the chicken go to the other side of the playground?
I don't know.
To get to the other slide.
Oh, wait. I got it. Ready?
There you go.
Ugh.
Why did the chicken cross the playground to get to the other slide?
All right. Well, geez, Randy, thank you so much for your time. Let's do this last question. What do you want your legacy to be? What do you want people to say about you when you're done with this? You're done with your time here on this planet.
That he was remarkable and he encouraged other people to be remarkable.
Aw. Great. Hey, thank you so much, Randy. We should do a book trade. I would love to read your book, Remarkable. And thank you so much for taking the time here to hang out on the show.
My pleasure. And one last thing, if people are interested in the book Remarkable, I'm not quite sure when this is going to come out, but the third edition comes out in April the 4th. So they can pre-order it online now at all your major book platforms, whether that's Barnes and Noble, Amazon, BAM, whatever, wherever you like to order your books, you can get it.
And what did you do some updates? I was just curious, what one or two things that you may have updated in there?
New cover for sure. The content is pretty much the same. We took a few things out of the back of the book, but it's been so popular through the years. And last edition was in hardcover, and we wanted to make a smaller edition so that people could easily carry it in their purse or their briefcase.
Mhm.
And so it's just a better size.
Better side. And sometimes that's all you need for like more book sales. So congratulations, Randy. As one author to another, we've been telling people too. I just talked to another writer earlier today, and we're just saying a book is a distillation of a decade or more of somebody's life. So please support your authors. And we're still astounded, right, that paper books, right, are still 80% of the market despite
Yeah.
e-readers. So buy a physical book, walk around and read it. Right, Randy?
And if you like it, subscribe, like, or tell a friend.
That's the right thing because Randy's got my next message here,
Right.
which is like just like this podcast and your book. Wait, make sure and subscribe, share, like, or comment. Thanks again, Randy, for your time.
Pleasure, John. Thank you, buddy. Enjoyed the conversation.
Oh my goodness. He's so right on because you can subscribe at this podcast here at Engaging Virtual Meetings online and of course in 13 of your favorite locations. Please join us. I sure hope that Randy's going to join us here too at the Engaging Conference, October 1 through 3 this year, every October, engagingvirtualmeetings.com. And if you want to be remarkable like Randy, then you too can be a guest here. Go to engagingvirtualmeetings.com/meet, select interview, and you could be the next guest here on the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. What are you going to do today to be remarkable? Think about that, and I'll see you next time. This is John Chen, the author of the Amazon #1 hot new release, Engaging Virtual Meetings. I personally want to say thank you for listening to the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast. It is my passion to help you eliminate bad virtual meetings. Make sure that you click subscribe so that you can get the latest episode of the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast with all of the latest ideas. Hey, I want to meet you. If you want to talk about a virtual meeting challenge, or if you want to be the next guest on the Engaging Virtual Meetings podcast, just go to engagingvirtualmeetings.com/meet. That's engagingvirtualmeetings.com/meet, MEET, and find your best time to meet up. Thank you, and I look forward to engaging with you online.